studios in Hollywood. It's Rick's Horror Review Show. I'm Billy Bear, and tonight, this is right, Rick has a special guest, Brande Roderick, the Brande Roderick from the movie Wineville. This can't be right. That's just no way he booked this hook up. It's gotta be wrong. Think he gave me the right note? Anyway, here is your host, lover of horror and sci-fi, hater of slashes, the self-anointed demonologist himself, it's Rick! Welcome back to Rick's Horror Review Show, the slasher free zone, where we dive into the spookiest corners of horror and thriller. I'm, of course, your host, Rick, and tonight, we're beyond excited to introduce a guest who has truly done it all. Brande Roderick has nurtured multiple successful careers as a writer, producer, author, actress, and businesswoman. You've seen her starring alongside Jason Momoa in Baywatch, and her film credits include The Nanny Diaries with Scarlett Johansson, Starsky and Hutch with Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson, and her ventures into horror with Wes Craven's Dracula II Ascension and Snoop Dogg's Hood of Horror. But it doesn't stop there. Brande has made a big impact on reality TV, reaching the finale of The Celebrity Apprentice and then returning for All-Star Celebrity Apprentice. She's also an author of Bounce, Don't Break, Brande's Guide to Life, Love, and Success. But what some people might not know is that Brande is also thriving behind the scenes, producing feature films for her production company, including Ace and the Christmas Miracle, Twisted Vines, and her latest horror thriller, which we're diving into tonight. So without further ado, let's welcome the amazing Brande Roderick to the show. Brande, thank you for joining us tonight. How are you?
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for being here. You're on the right show, right? You make sure we're on the right show.
I am on the right show for sure, Rick.
Okay, so I saw your movie. I saw the movie Wineville, and I want to talk about it. Let's talk about Wineville. What inspired? Let's dive right into it. What inspired the 70s film aesthetic for this film?
Well, I mean, the location really lends itself to a 70s horror film. You know, that the winery itself was built in the early 1900s. It's got all the old barns with all the scary equipment all over the walls. It's got all the old farm equipment. So it really definitely lends itself to kind of that eerie 70s vibe. But actually, it was someone else who suggested it to us. We had written the script, had the story, and sent it to our my screenplay writer's friend, who is a really big writer producer. And he read it and he said, "You guys, this sounds like a 70s horror film." And then we were like, "Oh my gosh, that sounds perfect. We never would have thought of that." And so I actually made a phone call to some of my other producer friends and said, "Tell me how much will this cost me if I actually want to make this a 70s film?" Because I knew it wasn't going to be, as cheap as it was just to make it, a normal era film. And
Horrors and all that stuff. Right?
Yeah, but I felt like I could do it because I have a lot of friends that had old cars. The place, the winery already has all the old stuff. So now it's a matter of basically, the props and things like that we'd have to rent, and then also the attire that we'd have to rent for that. But I said, let's freaking do it. I want to do it because I love, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I love Last House on the Left. I Spit on Your Grave. Like all that era of film, I just loved so much. So we went ahead and did it.
And this one definitely captures the aesthetic of that era. Let's talk about you played. Well, actually, you wear a lot of hats here. You are acting in this film. You are producing and you are directing as well. Can you tell me what the most challenging thing is of not just acting, but also, actually, two questions. How challenging is it to direct a scene that you're both in and then directing a scene that you're not in? Or just talk about the general challenges of doing both of those things in a movie that you're starring and directing. I'm fascinated by that.
Well, all of it was difficult and hard. But I would say probably the hardest thing is being the producer of the show, the hands-on sole main producer. where I'm running around putting out fires left and right. For example, day one, our wardrobe stylist got COVID on day one. And this isn't just some normal movie, right, where you can run down to Walmart and grab clothes. Like, this is a period piece. So we had to scramble to try to find another wardrobe girl on day one. There was a day when one of the prop gals sprayed spray paint in her eyes, so we had to get her to the emergency room. There was a day where SAG was coming on set, and then I had to deal with that. I mean, there's just so many things that you have to deal with running around, on top of then running back to, your set and scene, and then have to get back into character. And, I mean, there's a lot to do, but I loved it so much. It didn't feel like work. Although it was hard work, it didn't feel like work because I love it so much, if that makes sense.
No, I can imagine. Yeah, you're balancing producing, acting, and directing. I mean, but if you enjoy it, it doesn't feel like so much work, right?
Exactly. That's why I always encourage people and my kids all the time. You pick something you love doing, that you're passionate about, because then you'll never feel like you're working.
Agree. Completely.
Even though it's hard work.
But Wineville... Totally. Now, Wineville is obviously not your first venture into horror. You've starred in other horror films before. Can you talk a little bit about your experience working with Wes Craven, first and foremost, on Dracula Ascension? What was that experience like?
That was pretty crazy. That was shot in Romania. So it was myself, Jason London, Craig Sheffer, Roy Schneider was in it. And we were in Romania, freezing cold weather in the middle of the night. I don't even know if it was like 20 degrees or what the temperature was, but they literally dug me a grave in the dirt, and I had to lay in a grave in Romania, and they were burying me alive. Okay, this stuff is real. That's what I had to do. It was crazy.
So no stunt doubles that you're saying. You did that all yourself.
No stunt doubles. And then I had to get, remember, it's freezing cold. I had to get doused, like I got soaked in a bathtub of blood with that sticky crap, and I had to lay on the outside because I just got thrown out of a window on cold concrete in, like, I don't even know what it was. It could have been 10 degrees for all I know. I don't know what, I just know I was freezing, and they're like, "Stop shivering, Brande." I'm like, "Oh, God." So I'm like trying to pretend like I'm dead, but I'm like, my heart, I'm like shaking. It was intense. It was crazy, but I had the best time. We had so much fun because we were all just living there together. Basically, we're there for like 3 weeks straight, and just had so much fun. I mean, it was great. And if you can put yourself through that, you can. Anything after that's easy.
Not bad. Is there like a particular thing that you learned in terms of like shooting horror from Wes Craven? Obviously a master of horror himself. Is there something like a particular style of shooting something in a horror movie that you can talk about that you captured from him? I know that I've heard in none of the news that you obviously you pay attention not just to the acting, the directing, but also the producing and you're always paying attention to that. Obviously you turn this into not just an acting career, but also now producing and directing.
Well, I think that there's so much over the years that you take. I've been in the business a really long time, 25 years, and I think that you just learn so much from everybody, and I've been so lucky, knock on wood. Everyone that I've worked with have really been amazing, like really great people. I've never worked for someone that I'm like, "Oh, that guy's a dick," or anything like that. Everyone's just been pretty great for the most part. I mean, Michael Bay was a little crazy, a little nutty, yelled a lot, but he's got that reputation. But he got this stuff done. So
totally. What about your experience on Snoop Dogg's Hood of Horror? What was that like?
Again, that was a fun movie to make, and loved working with Snoop Dogg. That was actually my second time working with Snoop Dogg, because I worked with Snoop Dogg on Starsky and Hutch. So it was kind of a fun reuniting, but you always knew when he was there because it smelled, a little funny. So everyone knew when Snoop was on set.
We knew it.
Yeah, that was awesome. I loved working with him, and he's so brilliant. He literally came to set one day and just wrote out the theme song of the movie the first half hour just sitting there and wrote out the song. I mean, he's
Really?
just so talented and so smart. He's really great to work with.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about Wineville. So obviously, a couple of film credits in horror already. What inspired you to create this particular movie? The last movie that you actually directed and acted was Ace. What was it? Ace, the Christmas Miracle? So why go with horror movie? Why a horror movie?
Well,
I mean, you've done other things other than horror, but why a horror movie?
For me, horror genre is what I know. That's what I know the most. Yeah. I come from one of those really crazy, sick families that are like really into horror. Like they're so into horror that when I was 6 years old, my mom had me watch The Exorcist with her. So it's just my dad was constantly trying to scare us. There was one point where my brother and I were just watching TV, and all of a sudden this crazy guy comes through the door with a stocking over his head and a knife, trying to just scare the shit out of us, which he did. They were always trying to scare us.
Your dad would do that to you?
Yeah. I mean, and then even for my birthday party,
God.
like we watched Sleepaway Camp for one of my birthday parties and slept outside in a tent, and my dad would come out and scare all the girls. So that's like in my blood, horror. And plus I went and I spoke to, again, another producer friend of mine and asked him, what movies can I sell that will actually make money? He said horror films are the easiest genre to sell. At the time he said that. I don't know if that's still the case, but because now it's pretty oversaturated, but yes. So with my business sense of, finding out that horror is an easier sell than, let's say, doing a drama, between that and my love and knowledge of horror, I decided to go down that route.
Now, you financed Wineville. I was reading an article that did you sell your house or did you get a second mortgage to finance this movie yourself? Did you do it? I was reading that you were telling people, do not be crazy like me, but I went ahead and I sold my house to do this movie.
I know. And I didn't want him to ask me that question, but I'm not going to lie. But yes, I did. I did sell my house, and I did want to follow my passion, follow my dream, and I did do it. And, I don't recommend anyone to do that. But I did do it.
Encouraging it, but I think people can appreciate the passion for believing in something so much that you're willing to finance it yourself and put your own house for sale. That's amazing. Yeah. Yep.
Pretty nutty, but I am nutty anyway. So, but yes, I did do that, and it's just. You gotta follow your dreams. Definitely do.
I agree. Okay. Totally. So, without spoiling too much, tell us a little bit about Wineville is about. Now, I read about the Chicken Coop Murders, and obviously, you tell us. Tell us about Wineville.
Well, Wineville is set in 1978, and it is basically about a serial killer family. And Tess, my character, ran away when she was very young, at 15, because of some very horrendous things that were happening to her. So she ran away, and then her father passes away. So she has to come back to the family vineyard and settle things, sell the vineyard, and then get the heck out of there. But when she comes back, she finds that things have gotten even worse and festered and even more sinister than they were when she left. And not only does she now have to survive and get herself out of the situation, she actually has to now save and get her young 12-year-old son out of the situation. So it's kind of it's definitely a serial killer family. It kind of has the Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe mixed with maybe some Psycho, but it has a lot of plot twists. So many plot twists. People leave the theater going, or their house, when it's over, saying, I cannot believe that. I was not expecting that to happen. So that was my main goal, is to have some great plot twists that people couldn't figure out, because I hate it when I'm watching a movie, because I always feel like I could figure everything out, and then I figure it out. I want to be surprised when I'm watching a movie, right? Like, that's our ultimate goal. So that was what I wanted to create for the viewers. And I feel like I accomplished that with my crazy, sick plot twists.
I saw it. Mission accomplished. Definitely horror thriller. There's some drama in there. Drama elements, obviously. It's an entertaining film to watch. But let me ask you, this is the second time you work with your son, right? How is it working with your son, and how does your son like working with his mom?
I love it. And it also makes for like the easiest scenes because they're written in a way where it's very conversational for he and I, you know, as if we're just really talking. So for me, it's like, it's great. I love it. It's comfortable. It's easy. It flows. It's natural. And I hope he likes it, but I don't know. We'll have to ask him.
This is his second film, right? He was also in Ace and the Christmas Miracle?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, he's got that experience under him.
Yeah, he's and everybody talks about, oh my gosh, he's so good. People are always worried about kids in movies, and they're like, he's so good. Even one of my producer friends, you know, saying, I want to put him in one of my movies. But Keaton's like, I just want to play football, you know. He said, unless one of your friends just wants to put me in a movie, he said, then I'll do it, but I don't want to audition anymore. I'm like, well, that's what we all want, kid, you know? Like, but
that's funny. Okay, cool, awesome. I want to ask you some questions. This is a horror review show after all, but I have some questions about who your favorite horror villain is. Who's your favorite horror villain? I mean, somebody who watched The Exorcist at age 6. That is,
I know.
Pretty intense to start with.
Believe it or not, even though that was pretty terrible watching that at 6 years old, right? With Linda Blair stabbing herself.
Did it affect you? Like, do you remember that? Or do you just remember being told you saw it?
I remember it. I remember being with my mom and watching it. But, the movie that scared me the most, and the villain is Freddy Krueger. And I was 14 years old when I watched that movie with my girlfriend. And even though we were teenagers and we were 14, for 2 nights straight, we had to sleep on my parents' floor because we were that freaked out. Because you don't want to go to sleep, right? Freddy Krueger. He's going to kill you while you sleep. So that to me, he's like the spookiest, craziest horror villain to me.
Yeah, that sounds. I mean, you can't pick a better one, I think. Yeah, no, he's at the top, definitely at the top of many lists for sure. Okay, I don't know if you're a fan of jump scares. Are you a fan of jump scares? Have you participated in a jump scare in a movie? Do you enjoy them?
I am not that big of a jump scare person, which is why I didn't really have many jump scares in my movie. I
didn't want to spoil it.
Yeah, I'm not too big on the jump scares. I mean, I like a few, here and there.
Yeah, I feel like movies nowadays, they just rely on it too much. But yeah, definitely you won't find a lot of jump scares in Wineville, but I really enjoyed that. Okay, so then the movies, the movies that genuinely scared you, then you said the horror villain that really scared you was Freddy Krueger. So I'm assuming all the Friday the 13th, oh my God, everyone's gonna kill me. The Nightmare on Elm Street movies are your favorite horror movies?
Well, I definitely loved those, but they were very scary. But I really like, I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Last House on the Left. I liked I Spit on Your Grave. But then, more recently, I love Sinister with Ethan Hawke. Oh my gosh, when the projector, oh my God, that sound. And then another one, I loved Black Phone. Oh my gosh, I loved that. And then I also loved Barbarian. Those are 3 newer horror movies that I really liked.
Yeah, 2 of those 3. I haven't seen Barbarian. Definitely love Black Phone and Sinister with Ethan Hawke, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Barbarian. I'll check that one out. Okay, I have one last question for you here. As a fan of horror, as somebody who saw The Exorcist at age 6, if you could direct a classic horror film, which one would it be?
Well, the problem is, all the ones I mentioned, they've all been already done, right? They've all been redone. So that's such a hard one. But even though it's been remade, but I think it would be fun to do I Spit on Your Grave, but do just like the original. I would love to just do it just like the original, but like a modern day original, because they did redo them, but they were more later in life. It wasn't really the main story.
Right.
I think it would be kind of cool to just remake that, like in a more modern setting, but the same story. The woman's being attacked and raped like over and over. Have you ever? You're probably too young to see it. Over and over and over again. She just gets her revenge, and it's good revenge. It's so good. I think that could be fun.
That's good.
As a woman, like get the revenge.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I haven't seen it, but definitely sounds like something that should be redone. I think it's nice sometimes just to remake a movie and add like modern storytelling, even if it's the same story, change a little bit, sort of stuff. The technology is a little different.
Yeah, exactly. Could do a little bit more. Yeah.
Modernize it.
Yeah. And it would be fun to do like a Texas Chainsaw, of course, but it's only been done like a million times. But it
has been done. Which one's your favorite, by the way? Talking about all the Texas Chainsaw Massacres, because a lot of people, when they talk about that movie, they probably, they know the original one, but I feel like they prefer the more modern ones. I think there was the 2018 version. Which one do you like the best?
I love the original.
The original one, right?
I love the original for sure.
The people don't get this one, but there's like zero gore on screen in that movie, and it's just so effective, right? There's no actual killing on camera.
There's no actual killing.
No, there's no like you don't actually see him killing anybody. It's all like it's all like
they put him on the hook. The meat hook on the back. That is it's pretty scary. Uh-oh, I lost you. I lost your sound. I don't know what happened.
Not now.
Oh, I can hear you now.
I don't know what happened.
It says recording resumed. It says recording resumed.
Yeah, I paused it briefly while I figured out the sound issue. Now we're back.
Okay.
Okay, so I was saying, I don't know how much you caught, but I wanted to talk about the giveaway of the Wineville DVD, which I already saw. I think it's a fun movie to watch. Definitely check it out. But you have been kind enough to. Why don't you talk about the Wineville?
Sorry, you kept cutting out. Talk about what?
No. You have been kind enough to do a giveaway announcement of an autographed copy of Wineville. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. I want to do a giveaway for your listeners, an autographed DVD. My son will sign it, I'll sign it because we're both on the cover of the DVD. And I just want you guys, whenever you're watching it, to take a screenshot of you guys watching Wineville, or a screenshot of your review or rating on Fandango or IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes, anything. Just send it in to me so that I have proof that you either rated it or watched it. And then I'm going to take those and I'm going to do a drawing and pick one of you guys and give you the DVD. And they'll give you the address where I should send it.
And you're doing it at Brande Roderick, right? On Instagram.
You'll send it to the Wineville movie Instagram, or you can send it to Brande Roderick Instagram, whatever. I get both of them. And
what's the
just say that it's you're from Rick's. Yep, and then you'll just say you're from Rick's Horror Show. And so I know you guys who it is. And then I will do the drawing and I will send out the DVD, an autographed DVD.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So cool. Brande, I cannot believe you came on. I thank you so much for reaching out. It's very kind of you to review show. We're very, very excited to have you on. And again, we really enjoyed the movie. And thank you so much for being on.
Well, I appreciate you, Rick, and I'm excited that you had me on. So thank you for having me on to talk about Wineville, and I would appreciate it. Everyone go to winevillemovie.com, and it'll show you all the places that you can watch the movie, and that's also where you can get a DVD. If you don't end up winning the DVD, that's where you can get an autographed DVD. So
totally. I saw it on Amazon Prime, but I think it's also available on Apple TV website, and website tells you exactly where to watch it. Brande, thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye.
I think that's going to be it for this one. Another exciting episode in the books, this time with a special guest. I can't believe it. She actually came on. She reached out and she was like, hey, I want to be on your show, Kabish. And I was like, sure, you want to be on my show? You sure you got the right show? This is the Rick's Horror Review Show. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to another exciting episode. Hope you enjoyed this interview with Brande Roderick from the movie Wineville. Go check that out on winevillemovie.com. I saw it on Amazon Prime. The audio was cutting out a little earlier. You can watch it on Apple, Amazon Prime, or you can go directly to the winevillemovie.com website, and you can find Brande on the Instagram, and you can find me on the Instagram. And that's going to be it. We'll catch you again next time. Another exciting episode of Rick's Horror Movie Review Show, where we review all things that are related to horror movies, horror TV shows, horror documentaries, horror primetime specials from the 1990s, featuring Barbara Walters and Hugh Downs. Because around here, we absolutely love that shit.